Sunday Sensei Says number 19. My name is Jeb Johnson. I'm in the Warehouse West Melbourne, my amazing indoor facility, where I'm offering free community fitness through Melbourne Fit Club, as well as heaps of martial arts madness that I run as group sessions. Now, the lesson of the day is that we should train our bodies evenly, and we should strive for balance in all of our fitnesses. This is a different video. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about exercise and a little bit more about physical movement instead of nutrition and motivation. What I really want to push today is that our bodies need to be balanced. I recently discovered that my cardio isn't as good as my strength right now. I've been doing a lot of functional fitness, lifting a lot of kettlebells, interesting objects like dead ball lifts, different kinds of strength training, and it's really functional and it made me awesome for Spartan race. I had this incredible Spartan race experience and I did really well and I was really happy with myself. My cardio is not as good as it was, right? I've overdeveloped my functional fitness and strength and my cardio has dropped a little bit. Now, it is so hard to attain perfect balance in all of the different fitnesses because there's too many and it's like a constant balancing act and you have to always be tweaking it. But that's the game and that's exactly what we should all be striving for. But let's look at it really simply. If you do cardio 2 or 3 times a week, say you play tennis and you also go for a run and maybe you cycle a bit, that's awesome and I'm all for that. But if you don't do strength training as well, then you're setting yourself up for injury. It's really common for runners, for example, to run heaps and heaps and they end up super duper cardio fit, but then they cop knee injuries or ankle injuries, and it's largely because they're not doing the appropriate amount of strength training. Runners need single leg stability. If runners are not doing specific single leg strengthening exercises, then they're going to cop injuries. Let's get even more specific, because this is what a PT does. So, did you know that the body has 3 chains of movement and they're each associated with a different kind of action? So the first chain is considered the anterior chain and is responsible for all pushing. When we squat, when we do push-ups, we tend to train our anterior push muscles, the ones that you can see in the mirror. Because you can see them in the mirror, because we all know squats and push-ups, this is by far the most overtrained muscle groups. Next we have the posterior chain. The posterior chain of muscles that you can't see in the mirror, they're responsible for all pulls, okay? So whenever we're doing a deadlift, for example, or we're rowing, we're training our posterior chain. And this is often undertrained, and as a result, people end up kyphotic. Kyphotic is a term that we use to refer to hunchback posture. So I made a video about this ages ago, but it's like, if you can see me on this angle, if we overdevelop our push muscles, like our chest and our abs, say from too much crunches and push-ups, then we end up hunched over like that, right? These muscles are pulling, and these muscles are weak, so that we're not able to stand up straight, because our overdeveloped front muscles are pulling us forward and causing us to hunch over. It actually makes you look smaller than you are. Having a well-developed posterior chain helps you stand up straight, makes your posture better. So, train your posterior and anterior chain evenly. How do you do that? Every time you do push-ups, I'm doing 100 push-ups a day at the moment. So, I do a lot of anterior chain training for push-ups. I need to do an even amount of posterior chain rowing. Now, here's the last one that everyone forgets, the lateral chain. The lateral chain is responsible for rotation. And everyone in the world should train rotation. Because in the great sport of life, the weights that we have to pick up, our kids, our groceries, they're never right in front of us. They're often slightly to the left or the right. So we need to rotate. We're constantly rotating in life. And people get injured really commonly when they twist at the same time that they lift. Yeah, you always hear about people who pick up a heavy bag and they get hurt because they were twisting a little bit. This is because we're familiar with anterior chain training, we're familiar with posterior chain a little bit, but most of us don't train the lateral chain movement. Therefore, you should rotate, no matter who you are, almost in every workout. Here's my advice. Add in an exercise like a lunge, and at the same time as you lunge, twist a weight over your front leg. All I'm suggesting is that the 3 chains become equal. So, in summary, make sure with all fitness training that you are balanced. Make sure that if you're doing a whole lot of cardio, say 2 or 3 sessions a week, you have a similar amount of strength training. And in your strength training, make sure that you're not overdeveloping your front muscles, because that's going to ruin your posture. And ensure that you're doing an even amount of pushing, pulling, and the all-important twisting rotation movement. Cool, good, done. Next.